Are you tired of listening to us talk?
Well, yes.
I don't blame you. So occasionally, we're going to ask you some questions.
I'm Ted Odell. I'm retired, which is wonderful. I've actually retired twice. I worked for almost 30 years in high tech. My background's electrical engineering. I retired from that at age 50, and then I took a couple years to figure out what I wanted to be when I'd grow up. So I went back, got a teaching credential, and I taught high school science and math for 11 years. I raise lemons for a couple reasons. The first is I do it with my oldest son, Tim. You may know him from the Los Huevos Rancheros team. We run the 62 Ranchero, and we've been racing with him even back when he ran the Uberbird, which was a BMW. And there's nothing cooler than working on cars and hanging out, with your grown son, right? So that's sort of big benefit number one. The second reason is I'm really not that good a driver. And I'm not good enough to drive in those four-letter acronym other organizations that race. And I can race lemons and have a blast and stay out of trouble and just have a really good time. And the third reason, which, again, I said my background's engineering, is lemons is just a series of problems to be solved. And coming up with creative solutions, how to keep your car on the track, how to get it back on the track. I mean, we've patched stuff with baling wire. We've, manufactured parts. For this last race, we had to cut up a can to make a part for the brakes. I mean, just anything and everything to get the car back on the track. It's just a blast. We call the car the Freebie, and there's a story behind that, which is that I had my 69 MGB GT, and you can sort of see it up top in the background with the diaper hanging under it, because it's British and it leaks. I had that at a car show in Auburn. They do cruise night, where they close the streets and all your cars are there, and so I was showing that, and this guy walks up to me and he goes, "Oh, yeah, I had one I was working on, but, I quit working on it about 10 years ago." And I said, "Yeah, I understand. That's the way of project cars." He goes, "You want it?" I said, "I don't know." He goes, "It's free." I said, "Okay, I'll take it." He goes, No, wait a minute. You need to understand, it's not like yours. It needs a lot of work." I said, "Yeah, that's okay." He goes, "Okay." So a couple months go by. I contact the guy and I go, "Hey, I'm ready to get the car." He goes, "Oh, I thought you came to your senses." I said, No, I'm still interested." So we look in the car, it's sunk in the mud, the tires are shot, the bottom has about 4 inches of a combination of tarp, leftover stuff, parts, leaves, and rat poo, just to make it really special. We had to winch it out of there, brought it home. My wife is just looking at me like, "What in the world have you brought home?" She says, "No problem, honey. You can do your hobby all you want. I get matching funds. Whatever you spend, I get matching funds." I'm like, "Okay, sounds great." And then I didn't realize how much I was going to spend. This is our first race in this car, and the first race we've done before with my son Tim. We did it in the BMW 633 we ran back around 2010, the first Ranchero, the second Ranchero, and now this car. So this is the fourth car that we've collectively run, quote unquote, the first race. And my goal for this race was to finish it. It's just, there's so many things that can go wrong. And of course, you never have your build completely finished, and you're always putting stuff on right at the last minute. You go, "Oh, close enough, let's go." And we finished. And we actually finished the race. We probably spent 4.5 hours in the pits over the 2 days of racing. It was great. We managed to finish the race. Big victory. I gotta tell you, never, ever, ever take a free car. The guy wasn't kidding when he said it needed a lot of work. And I thought, this will be no sweat. And then, of course you get into it and you learn, I should have had a later year. It would have been much easier if I had had a 69 instead of a 67. But starting with a car that's already clapped out, of course, any old car like that's gonna be, it's kind of the nature of the beast. But, oh man, my advice to people is, when somebody offers you a free car, run the other way. The car that I would build is this car. I've always wanted to build an MGB GT as a race car. And it's just a blast to be able to cut it up, do what you want to do to get it on the track. And I love this car. It is so much fun to drive. There's a bunch of stuff we need to do to it. I mean, it's not quite finished, but this is the car. This is the build that I've always wanted to do. And the other part to that is, I've said, now that I've built this one, the next one will be easier. And my wife says, there is no next one.
Every second you don't subscribe, or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?